Heavy is the head that has to manage all of this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel.
We're now incentivized to buy what we already buy.
Fumbling through college had me building.
I also got some done on the other side.
And that was right around, I would say, May, maybe, right before renewing the lease for this property. Welcome to the channel, Martha.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, I was going to say, I am getting up there and age, I'll tell you what.
Bills paid by other people, life was never this good. I had to step back, knowing that it's...
Hey everyone, we're back in my backyard. It is pretty hot today. The sun is out. I'm going to need one of those shade things. It starts with a P. I can't remember the name right now. But we're going to get right into it. So we're talking about property taxes and escrow accounts. And what I've been seeing in, I believe, Florida was that property taxes were raised almost 2 times what they were. And they had to be reassessed in value because so many people complained. And, you know, when I got my estimate on what my primary residence was worth, I didn't complain. I basically looked at it and I said, wow, really, it's undervalued for the area. And so I wasn't going to complain about what they estimated my home to be. Now, if I had fought the battle, I wasn't sure because, again, it's my first go-round being a homeowner. I wasn't sure if they would reassess it even higher due to the fact that I, you know, challenged them and things like that. You know, some people are greedy with power. Now, I don't know how that system works when you go there to assess your property, but I was talking to my neighbors and all of their estimates came in a lot higher than mine. And so I decided not to engage in that. But my property taxes definitely shot up significantly from where it was, to the point to where I had to look at alternative options in homeowners insurance, which had also shot up about $500 a year. So for those of you who don't know, I've had my homeowners insurance and property taxes in escrow on both of my properties. So because of that, until you really see like a price change in your monthly payment, I had everything set up. It was going smoothly. I was literally investing, I was putting down an additional $1,200 a month on principal. And so when things like this happen, I don't necessarily want to cut back on what I'm doing in order to pay off the home. Because, you know, that was my motivation initially was, okay, if I can put this extra $1,200 every single month and I can pay off this home in roughly 8 to 10 years, you know, on top of the mortgage payment itself, then I thought that that was a great plan. And, you know, property taxes are reassessed every 2 years or so. And I do see it going up 2 years from now. I do see the property values increasing 2 years from now. So for at least the foreseeable future, I can see this almost impacting necessarily what we do as consumers, as home buyers, right? So if you can't afford, right now, there's only about 58% of people who still have like a 4% or less interest rate on their home. If you can't afford your home, because these property taxes are going up, you definitely wouldn't be able to afford a home at 7%, 8% interest rates, depending on your credit. And so, although I know that I can still qualify for about a 6.5% or 6% interest rate, I know that with the way these property taxes are going up, there's going to be more properties of value to me that hit the market. And for those of you who don't know, when I invest in real estate, I'm also looking for properties that I wouldn't mind living in. What do I mean by that? If I wouldn't live there, then I wouldn't necessarily buy it, right? Like, if I can't see myself living there, why would I buy it? Because that means there's a group of people who wouldn't be interested in living there, period. Now, I'm not the most bougie person in the world. In fact, I'm not really a needy person. I'm not materialistic. I don't necessarily need for things. But I'm also the same person who never thought I'd be planting in my backyard. So take that with a grain of salt. For the most part, I will say, though, if I personally wouldn't live there, then that's already a group that's saying, you know what, I'm not looking for that single family home. I'm not looking for that duplex. And this is why I typically stay away from 2-bedroom properties. Although most duplexes, especially in the Midwest, are 2 bedrooms each side. And for me, I just don't like it because of the additional turnover. Unless you're getting an elderly person who is children are out of the home, things like that, you're basically begging for high turnover. So what you want is at least a duplex with 3 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, or even 1 bath. It doesn't really matter, because 3 bedrooms is now family style living, or at least if I have a guest, roommate, bachelor pad type living. So when I first moved to Columbus, I was renting a 2-bedroom apartment, and I was telling myself I got to look at the new rents for that apartment, because when I first moved back in 2020, it was a luxury apartment. I was paying $980 a month. That's before utilities and everything else. So with utilities, with everything else, maybe I was paying about $1,300 a month. I felt like I was paying about $1,200, and that could be the case because I'm sure utilities were less expensive back then. Now this is just a guesstimate, and I am going to do the research on this property. It was on Alum Creek, but it was just a guesstimate. But I'm going to assume that it's probably charging maybe $1,400 or $1,500 now for the same 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom style apartment. With that being said, we're really getting into a point now where rents are definitely going to go up because of these taxes and because of these escrows needing to be funded. I was just looking at my escrow, and it said that I need to have twice as much as my next payment in the escrow account. So what that means is if your payment is supposed to be $500, they want to see that you have a balance of $1,000. And now I see why a lot of people move away from escrows entirely, because why would you want to keep an additional $1,000 on the sidelines, not making money for you, not in a 5% interest rate savings account, not in your investments doing what it's supposed to do? You just got it there sitting, collecting money for the mortgage company essentially. Why would I do that? So I'm getting to a point where I'm going to reassess everything, mainly in January of 2025, to whether or not I even keep an escrow account. And I probably won't keep the escrow account. I'm probably going to do everything myself. For all of you who don't know as well, who are just getting started in real estate, once you have 20% equity in your home, you can definitely forego an escrow account and do everything yourself. You'll just mail in your tax returns, and you'll just pay your homeowner's insurance online every single month. And this way you actually understand where your money is going and how much of it is going towards what and what. The reason why I like this is because you don't see an increase in your property payments, and you can start to adjust to that. And for those of you who don't know, because property prices have risen so much, and I know you're so interested in what's going on in my life, because property prices have risen so much, I am far ahead of 20% equity in the home. But what I really wanted was 20% equity from my purchase price. What do I mean by that? Well, because you don't necessarily want to have your property reassessed every single time, and you don't necessarily want to have to pay for that reassessment, because they will charge you $500, $1,000 to reassess your property, knowing that it is already meeting the guidelines. They'll still say, hey, we need to charge you for this service. I'm not going for that. I'm not going to pay for a reassessment. Yes, I could break even. Yes, I can make my money back, but I just don't see the point when I can just pay extra towards my principal, that $500, that $1,000 towards the principal, and eventually that'll take care of itself. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the big picture in that way. I'm going to actually have to look at the numbers in May and see, am I already at that 20% equity in both properties. I know the first property that I bought that's now a rental may already have hit that threshold, because I've had that one about 10 months longer than I've had this one. It's about 10 or 8 months longer. And so there's a lot more payments on that one already made. And plus, any additional principal that I add to that is more effective, because it was a cheaper property when I bought it as well. It was about, how much cheaper? I would say about $80,000 cheaper than my primary residence right now that I'm living in. And that's without like really going into the numbers. I would say about $70,000 to $80,000 cheaper. So if I put $100 on the principal on a rental property, it's going to be a lot more effective than $100 on the principal on this property, especially because the interest rate was lower on the rental property. How did I get the interest rate lower is for another video. So I'll speak to you all on the next one. Peace.